Hey everyone, I'm Ryan, you're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and I'm back with another small pile of pedals for my big brand budget shootout series. This is the last one in the series. As far as I have it planned right now, I'll be waiting on Maestro to come out with, like a reverb or a tremolo or a flanger or something like that so that I can shoot it out against Fender and JHS versions of the same style circuit. But this video is going to be about distortions. I already have the Fender hammer tone distortion out, but I've got a box with the JHS 3 series distortion here, which I obviously have not tried since I'm unboxing it here, as well as the Maestro Invader distortion, another one that I have not tried. I wonder if any of these have trim pots. Some of the Maestro and hammer tone pedals that I've covered so far have had trim pots, so might as well check. Oh, looks like there is on the Maestro an internal trim pot on the circuit board. Allows the user to adjust the level of the noise gate's threshold. There's a noise gate, guys! So yeah, I'll definitely have to get into that. I'm gonna have to pull out a screwdriver to get into the Fender, or I could just use a pick. Let's use a pick. I don't want to break it. There's two trim pots. Tone and mid control. This already has 4 knobs. You've got treble, bass, and mid control with an internal. All right, I guess I'm leaving that just finger tight so I can get in there and mess around with the mids and I guess a secondary tone control. Let's get them wired up and see what these distortions sound like. I'm going to use my Yamaha RevStar, which might just be the very best double humbucker guitar that I own. The way it plays, the way it feels, it sounds phenomenal. I love this finish. I love this like sunset gradient burst on here. Just a wonderful guitar. Also, by the way, this whole series has been made possible with help from Sweetwater. They provided the pedals that I didn't have, and they took care of my demo fees and stuff like that. So huge thanks to Sweetwater. Click the links down below. Please show them that you enjoy the series and you want more of this sort of thing. And of course, I'm gonna run through my 2 Princeton's rig. There's my clean signal from the neck pickup. Here is the bridge pickup. And let's get started with the Maestro. Everything's on noon. There's a gate on and a gate off switch. There we go, we're off to the races. is a distortion, a capital distortion. That's like everything I dreamed about having when I was a teenager in the 90s. Oh man, it is sharp, it is brittle, it is thick and heavy and full sounding. That gate isn't on 100%. There's a little bit of noise coming through, but it's clamping down on quite a bit of it. So this could be a pretty noisy pedal with all that gain. I don't hear any tonal difference. Might as well leave the gate on all the time, right? Let's check out the range of at least two of these knobs. That gain is super, super heavy. Weird little bit of like glitchy shelving on the lower end there. It doesn't like being turned down all the way. I guess there are reasons why you could turn down the gain, but you've got a distortion that sounds like this. Might as well turn it all the way up and break it off, right? I mean, that's a great sound. It really is. But this sound? Yes, please. It's really, really bright. Let's see how dark we can make it. Turned all the way down, it's just a little bit darker than what I'd call normal. I have a feeling I'll end up living right about there. Yeah, that's a great distortion. What a classic distortion. Just bright and heavy and huge sounding and everything a teenager dreams of. If you have given this to me like 1997, it would have become part of my whole personality. Moving on to the JHS, we've got a volume, a filter, a distort, and then a gain switch. What does the gain switch do? Gives you two options for different gain types. Down is more saturated and compressed with slightly lower volume. Up is more open and crunchy with higher volume. All right, I'm wondering, because it has a filter knob, if this is going to be a rat variation. is lo-fi. This has never happened before. I just broke a string on the guitar that I'm using. Oh my gosh, what guitar am I going to use now? Do I change the string? Amazing. I'm not going to change the string. I'm going to use my Fender Player Plus because I've been living on the bridge humbucker anyways. I'm sure it won't sound that different. I'll backtrack to the Maestro in a little while, just in case it does sound very different, but I'm planning on experimenting putting a Duesenberg trim on the Revstar. So I'll hold off on changing the strings on that to do that. Okay, that's a new one. I don't think I've ever broken a string mid-demo before. I'm having a lot of fun with feedback today. Yeah, this is a completely different voice than the Maestro. It's got more of that like 1970s, like early 80s, kind of barky mids, kind of like throaty sort of feel to it. It's doing the Rat style thing. I don't know if I would say that this is a Rat drive. That filtering is definitely doing the Rat thing for sure. That hard kind of filtering. It doesn't have as much like vocal vowel thing going on as some Rat filters that I've messed around with over the years, but it's definitely hinting that direction for sure. Let's go through a few different settings, even though I just jammed with it a bunch. So here's with the gain switch down. I think the Strat humbucker might be more microphonic than the Yamahas. Interestingly, I think I prefer the up position when the gain is up high. But I prefer the down position when the gain is lower. Yeah, it's because the up position gives you a bit more clarity, and you need that to jump above the murk of all that distortion. But it's too much clarity on the lower gain settings. What do you guys think of that? Got some lint on there. That's the problem with a white pedal. It shows every little speck, right? Here is the Fender hammer tone. I didn't get into the trim pot in this. It was to adjust the gate, but I should definitely get into the trim pot for this distortion because it's got a mid control. Got to scoop those mids, right? We've got treble and bass controls as well. Already more tone controls than these two have. Oh, that sounds thick. Turn down the level for that. That's got a lot of low end on tap. That is very heavy. That's like worry about your amplifiers heavy. Fender hammer tone has a really great, like modern appropriate sound to it. Lots of low end on tap if you want it. It can get very, very heavy. Might be a difference in pickups because I had to swap the guitar, but I don't feel like it has as much gain on tap as the other two. And this had more of like a metal voicing to it. Let's do a quick comparison real quick with the gain up on all of them. Yeah, this has that really sharp, full, heavy metal distortion thing going on. This has more of that like 70s barky rat sort of thing going on. I'm getting more of like a high gain amp style distortion vibe from this, which is very interesting. Again, like I've said this across this entire series of videos, it's really fun that all three of these brands, JHS, Maestro by way of Gibson, and Fender's Hammertone line, they all have very unique voicings for their individual pedals. I don't think I've run into any of them so far in this series where it's like, oh, these two sound pretty much the same. It's kind of the same thing. Another 3-knob version of this. No, they all have unique characters, which I think is great. It's fantastic. They're not copying each other. They're providing a very simple genre of these circuits, an accessible and affordable genre of these circuits without copying off of each other's work. You know, they're giving variety. They're putting variety into the marketplace. I love it. Which one would you choose? If you had to pick one of these right now as your distortion of choice, what would you go with? I feel like I'm in between these two. I really love how big and fat and heavy this can be dialed in, but there's something about that really sharp, red hot razor blade metal edge of the Maestro that is kind of exciting me in an irresponsible teenage sort of way. And then this is the responsible choice. This is the one that's actually going to work in your mix. This is the one that your bandmates aren't going to complain about because it's actually like a really classic and usable sound, that kind of warmer and darker and honkier and barkier style classic Rat kind of sound. 90s punk. Pop punk, like late 90s to early 2000s pop punk here. You're getting that big, heavy, kind of like quadruple, quintuple rectifier sound that everyone was going for. I know that's not the amount of rectifiers that people used. And then you're getting that late 70s, early 80s, kind of like hair metal, classic rock, glam metal sort of vibe with that. I think that's what we're dealing with. All right, I want to crack this open and check out those trim pots and see what kind of danger and trouble we can get into. Leave no trim pot unturned, right? Need a little screwdriver. Did that scoop it? Yeah! Boost them? Bit scooped, not all the way scooped, but the mids were pushed a little bit more in the stock position, and I'm going to leave them just pulled out a little bit because I like that sound. Yeah, not bad. And there's an extra tone control here. Is it just going to be a master tone? I found that once before in one of these hammer tones. There was like another master tone control. Maybe it's like a pre-tone or a post-tone? I don't know. Yeah, it started out wide open. I guess if you want to roll back some highs for a different kind of mix, you can use that. But I don't feel any reason to adjust that master tone control in there. I'm just going to leave it as is. What should we do for end of the video fun? I should definitely stack them. I will do that. I think I want to pick two and split into the two Princetons, do a stereo distortion thing. Should I run one in front of the other two for stacking? Let's decide that right now. We'll stack them and then we'll decide if one's going to run in front before the split. Distortions really don't stack great. They're not like overdrives. I'm going to split that and that. I don't think I've ever done a stereo distortion rig before. I've done stereo fuzz, stereo reverb and delay and all sorts of modulations and phasers and choruses and things like that. But I've never done distortion, as far as I can remember anyways. Is this gonna like rip a hole in the fabric of reality? We're all gonna get sucked in and spit out into some new dimension? No, it's probably just gonna sound really heavy and noisy. All right, so I decided to run the JHS 3 Series distortion in front of the split. So that's running into the splitter up here, which is splitting into the Maestro and the Fender, which each get their own Princeton. So it'll be like stacking two distortions when I turn this on, but then the stereo mix as well. Here we go. Let's see what happens. And then after it happens, then I'll use the baritone as well. Oh my gosh. Let's do low sounds on the Fender side and bright, brittle sounds on the Gibson side. It's fun, but it's not like a spiritual, life-changing experience like stereo fuzz can be, and even like, stereo delays and modulations and stuff. It feels huge, it feels full. That dynamic of one amp being really low and throaty and heavy right now while the other is bright is a really fun combination. But yeah, I'm not getting that same, like, this is the first day of the rest of my life kind of experience right now. Let's try it with baritone though. Maybe that'll change my mind. Last time on 60 Cycle Hum, Ryan tuned his baritone down to C, and he never put it back. All right, here we go. Oh, apologies to my neighbors. I've been sitting here jamming, disturbing the neighborhood for too long. What do you guys think? which one would you choose if you were going to buy one of these big brand budget distortion pedals? The JHS 3 Series distortion with this kind of classic, ratty, barky, mid-humped sort of character, or the Invader distortion by Maestro, which has this very metallic, scooped and bright, high gain sort of thing going on. Or the Fender hammer tone distortion that has a secret mid control. It's got 3-band EQ. One of the bands is a secret inside, but it's still there. It's got a lot of low end on tap. It's got a great sounding distortion. I think this is the one that I would choose if I was going to pick, with this in second. And this is a great option. It really is. If you're curious about that kind of era of sound, that more responsible distortion sound, I think this is a great option. But if I'm going to play distortion, I want to get wild and raucous and irresponsible. And my memory card just filled up on the overhead camera. It just chirped at me. Apparently I didn't clear my card. So anyways, the video is over. Huge thanks to Sweetwater for making this video possible. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. They sourced me with all the products so that I could do this video and all the other videos in the series, and they paid my demo fees and whatnot so that the time it takes to make videos, to film and edit and everything else makes sense, so I can put food on the roof and diapers on the table. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude and nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you're naked, and stay grounded. Bye, everyone.